Writing a paragraph, RAFFT, Lesson 2. Here is our focus for this week. We can use the acronym RAFFT to organize a paragraph. We can find sentences from a text to support an answer to a question. And last, we can explain how sentences from a text support an answer to the question. So let's look at how we're going to do all of this. Here is our RAFFT resource, all of the parts of our paragraph. Last week, we focused on the first two parts, R, reel in the reader, and A, answer the question. This week, we are going to focus on the next two parts of our paragraph, F, fact and explanation. Notice that we do this twice. There are two F sections in our paragraph. So let's break this down and look at what this part means. F stands for fact and explanation. The first F sentences are the third and fourth sentences in our paragraph. This is two pieces. Sentence 3 is our fact. A fact is a sentence that you copy from the text to support your answer. You use quotation marks around this sentence to indicate to the reader that this is a sentence you've taken from another author. Once you have your sentence, then you write an explanation. In this explanation sentence, you explain how the sentence you copied from the text helps to prove your answer. So you need to act like you are a detective to find the evidence or the fact, and then you need to explain how the evidence or the fact supports your answer. Then we need to do it again. In the fifth and sixth sentences in our paragraph, we need to find a second fact, a different piece of evidence that also supports our answer. We'll copy that from the text, use quotation marks, and then write another explanation that explains how this sentence from the text helps to prove our answer. Here are some sentence starters that we can use for our explanation sentences. We can say things like, this is important because, this evidence proves that, this means that, as a result, therefore, this shows because, and more. All of these are sentence starters that you can use when you write your explanation sentences. Let's see what this looks like. Here is this question that I had last week in my example. Should graffiti be considered art? So I'm going to use the same question, and now I'm going to work on building more to my paragraph. You can see that for the R and A sections, all I did was copy and paste the sentences I wrote last week into this new organizer. So I didn't change those at all. So now, since my answer is that yes, these pieces of art should be considered artwork, these graffiti, now I need to prove it. So you can see in my first F box here, I have quotation marks around this sentence that I have copied and pasted from an article to support my answer. Banksy's piece can sell for over $1 million at auction. So when he paints on the side of a building, the building's property value increases significantly. Some property owners even take measures to protect Banksy's art with fences, transparent cases, and security guards. So that's a piece of evidence, that's a sentence that proves why graffiti should be considered art. Now in my explanation, I've used a sentence starter, see it in bold. This means that graffiti is helping businesses by making them worth more money and making people want to visit them. So this sentence is a link between the piece of evidence that I found and my answer. Now I need to do it again. Here's a second piece of evidence, a second fact that I've copied and pasted from an article that supports my answer. And I can put quotation marks around it to tell my readers that I didn't write this sentence, somebody else did. Many people in the art community and the general public see Banksy's art in a more positive light. The public nature of his work means that everyone has access to it. This allows for a much larger audience to enjoy it than in art museums or galleries. So now I need to think, well, why does that support my answer? Why does that show that graffiti should be considered art? Well, this evidence proves that graffiti benefits the community because everyone gets to enjoy the art for free, right? So to go and view this graffiti, I don't have to pay a lot of money or travel to go to a museum. I can just walk down the street and see it for free. And that's why now everybody can benefit from it, not just those that can go into a museum. So now you can see that I've hooked my reader with my R, reel in the reader. I've answered the question. Yeah, in my A sentence, yes, graffiti should be considered art. And now I have two facts from an article that show why, that help to support the idea that yes, graffiti should be considered art. And I've explained why that evidence supports my answer. So let's take a look again. Let's see what you are going to do today. So first, we need to get ready. You're going to read the question that you've been given. This question is one that you worked with last week. So we're going to work on building that paragraph. So the question that we're going to use this week is, should TikTok be used in school? So you're going to go, my suggestion is go back to your RAFFT lesson 1 slide deck and copy and paste your R and A sentences into our new organizer this week so we don't have to rewrite them. Once you have your R and your A sentence copied from last week, then you're going to read, or you can listen to the TikTok article that supports your answer. So if you said yes, TikTok should be used in school, then you would read and listen to the yes article. In the same way, if you said no, TikTok shouldn't be used in school, you would read or listen to the no article. Next, you're going to find a sentence from the article that supports your answer. So something that you agree with that helps to prove that your answer is correct. And you're going to copy and paste that into one F box. Make sure you put quotation marks around it to indicate that this isn't a sentence you wrote, that you've copied it from another article, from another resource. Then you'll write a sentence that explains how the sentence you copied from the article supports your answer. Make sure you use those sentence starters to help you. And then last, you'll follow the same set of directions, but for the second F box and E boxes. So this time with a new piece of evidence and a new explanation. So here's our resource. So you can see the R and A box that I've highlighted in green. These, you've already written these. So you shouldn't have to write a new one. Go back to last week's lesson and I would copy and paste them right in here. So here's where you'll put your first piece of evidence. Make sure you use quotation marks. And then on the other side, you'll explain why your fact supports your answer. And then you'll do the same thing with the second piece of evidence, a second sentence from that article. Use quotation marks around it. Write an explanation. Use a sentence starter. How does this fact help to support your answer? So here's the yes TikTok article, and I've recorded it. So if you want to listen, you can hit the audio button, and that's a recording of me reading it to you. And this is the no, TikTok should not be used in school. And again, same thing. Here's the audio that you can listen to if you'd like. Once you've gone through that, rate your level of understanding. I'm anticipating that the explanation part is a little tricky. It always is. So if you find that that's the part where you're struggling with, that's okay. But don't be afraid to say that here. And that's something that we'll work on all year long because that is probably the whole paragraph writing. That's probably the hardest part. So click and drag the arrow. This being, yep, I feel really confident in it. I feel like I could do this again, no problem. One being, this was really tough, tags. I need some more help. Or if you're feeling somewhere in between, and make sure you write an explanation. So if you put your arrow down here, what specifically was hard? Where did you get stuck? And that'll be really helpful. And then last, make sure you go back into Google Classroom and turn this assignment in so that you can get your credit today. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Again, this is probably the trickiest part, so I want you to give it a try. Don't get frustrated. And if you need me, let me know. Good luck.